microphone.
Why would, Mr. Hitchens, why would scientific discoveries about the origin of the universe obviate the existence of God?
Well, they don't in and of themselves, but I just would submit, I really will be quick this time, and I know I've been a little verbose up till now. The likelihood that what Edwin Hubble saw through that telescope, the red light escaping at speeds that none of us here are capable of really imagining, towards the ultimate expansion and collapse of the universe and the heat death of the whole thing, that all that happened so we could be sitting here is, to me, in the very, very highest degree, improbable. That a process of evolution by natural selection just on our own tiny little planet, which in its own tiny little solar system is the only one on which life can be supported. Everywhere else, just in our little system, all the other rocks are either much too hot or much too cold to support life, as is much of our planet, which we know has for a long time been, not recently either, on a climatic knife edge, and which is still cooling. Only one. And on this planet, 99.8% of every species that ever evolved died out. This is an extraordinary way, I think, to make sure that Homo sapiens comes to Georgetown. It is only the most extraordinarily self-centered species could imagine that all this was going on for our sake. That's why I don't like people saying that their religious faith is modest or humble. It's the reverse. It's unbelievably solipsistic. And that's why you get people apparently abject, much too abject for my taste, like Mother Teresa. Oh, I'm so humble I can hardly bother to feed myself, But out of my way because I'm on a mission for God. No. This is arrogance, as a matter of fact, and it claims to know what it cannot know. I could say that Einstein was right when he said, the miracle is, of the natural order, the miracle is there are no miracles. Understand this paradox. The natural order doesn't interrupt itself. The sun doesn't stand still at midday. God doesn't catch a child as the kid falls out of a window, or heal lepers randomly. And none of that ever happens. The miracle is there's a force that holds it all together that's consistent and unvarying. That's wonderful. Okay, he may show there's a mind somewhere in the universe. But to say we know what that mind is, to move from the deist position to the theist one, we know what God wants us to eat or not eat. We know in what positions he wants us to make love or with whom. We know his instructions on it, is an unbelievable piece of conceit. And in my opinion, it's the reason why I may be a very poor spokesman for my side of this argument, but I think anyone who thinks about it has to vote that given the amount of uncertainty that we have, and given how much we now know, how much more we know about how little we know, the definition of education and our civilization, the only people who have to lose in this argument are those who say they do know, and who claim, yes, I do know what God wants, I do think he sent a son, I do think there was a resurrection, I do think there's salvation, claiming to know things they cannot conceivably know. I mean, to put it in a mild way, if Dr. McGrath has such extraordinary sources of information as the ones he's claimed to have available to him, I can't understand why he's only occupying a chair at Oxford University.
Well,
you should be, with the knowledge you've got, you should be a real mensch. And I'm afraid you don't know any more than I do about whether there was ever a Jesus of Nazareth, a resurrection, a miracle, a virgin birth, or anything. You couldn't know any more than I do. You can't. You just claim that you do. I'm afraid that means, I think, that you lose this round.
Well,